Good morning, this is Ryan who Love the Work. Welcome to Favorite Artist / Album. Here we are. We're talking about them. The things that nobody wants to talk about. Favorite Artist / Album. Just kidding. But that is what we're going to talk about. Before we even get started, give us a follow on Spotify. We're trying to build this up. Get some momentum in 2023. Got a new album coming out March 10th. It's not an album, it's actually 3 songs, more of a single. But I'm pretty excited about it. It's called the Lo-Fi Tapes. I played everything on this one. I usually try to get the guys to play on this stuff, but Matt wasn't feeling it right now. He's not feeling the inspiration. Send him your thoughts and prayers. And Bradford he's trying to work through some shit as well to get creative and productive. But anyways, Lo-Fi Tapes is coming soon. Can't wait for you to hear it. Looks like this. Lo-Fi, baby. In fact, we're going to do something a little different. I'm going to listen to the Lo-Fi Tapes along with you.
Low, bitter trash, I am the lowest scum. Giving only poor returns, a black hole of deception. Waits, everything is mine. The world belongs to me. A shallow echo of my stupidity. Let me live. Taste. I like the feel. I like the look. I like the smell. I like the sound. I like the taste. I like the feel. I like the look. I like the smell. I like the sound. Ignorance is my crown. I am low, bitter trash. I am the lowest scum. Giving only poor returns. A black hole of deception. Waste. Everything is mine. The world belongs to me. A shallow echo of my stupidity. Let me live. I like the taste. I like the feel. I like the look. I like the smell. I like the sound. I like the taste. I like the feel. I like the look. I like the smell. I like the sound. Perfect ignorance is my crown. I'd rather kiss first and ask questions later. I know so little, but what is unknown rules. The memory fades.
Amplified Tapes. Sorry, I kind of obsessed with it right now, so I had to bust it out. But let's jump in. Let's see what we can see. The heaviest matter of the universe. Gojira. Fuck yeah. Sick ass French band Gojira. Really killing it though, ever since they began. They're just still out touring, crushing it, selling records. Awesome ass heavy band. There's one of their riffs that I learned at one point. I can't remember. It was off of It wasn't The Way of All Flesh. It was the one before it. But sick ass band Gojira. The band When You Awake. I think Richard Manuel sang this one. He's got that high lonesome voice. Oh shit, the next one, King Harvest Has Surely Come, the band. 2 in a row. 2 for Tuesday. But yeah, Robbie Robertson wrote all the tunes. Checking out these handsome fellows. Garth. So sick, man. I mean, this is the dream that I'm chasing, like being in a band, basically. With my friends specifically, not just being in a band. I've been in a number of bands, but it's fun when you have that real connection with people, and they're your friends, and you have that musical connection. That was the cool thing about us and Love the Work is, we all started playing music around the same time and started learning a lot of stuff together. Like we were learning songs together and writing and playing together. And so that was very formative for my vision of what I want to achieve with this band. And I'm very grateful that even after all this time, we're still able to work together. Not as much as I'd like, but that's, who gets what they like, 100% of the time. But just the fact that I was able to work with Matt, we made Rainbow Grass, we made the self-titled album, we made Jazz Odyssey. So amazing. And then that I can work with Craig Long on this last project, in fact, Jazz Odyssey as well. So grateful for all of that. Stooge Willis 2.0. I'm afraid to listen to what this is. It's like some bass synth shit with a microphone. Where's the one? Not sure if I'm hearing that right. Ambiguous, Love the Work. I think this is one of Brad's. That's Bradford. Showbiz Kid, Steely Dan, fuck yeah. When we 2000, when the millennium came, me and Matt, Casey, and Sarah went down to New York City for the Millennium Bash. And on the drive down, we drove down from Maine. We were listening to like Steely Dan, this album, Countdown to Ecstasy. Must have listened to it fucking 10 times. Fiona Apple, Win the Pawn. Limp Bizkit, $3 Bill, Y'all. Probably Jeff Buckley, Grace. And maybe not, it might have just been those 3 CDs. We just listened to them over and over again. But Countdown to Ecstasy, man, what a good record. What a good ass record. I love the artwork too. These odd looking people on the cover. Steely Dan is definitely a band that that we aspire to be. I mean, they're in our bio, you know, talking about sitting in the barn working on music and thinking like, okay, what would Donald Fagen do at this point? And seriously asking that, you know. And I think Matt actually asked me that, and I jokingly replied, well, Matt, he would draw on his 30, 40 years of jazz knowledge, and he would do just the right thing. And, you know, being a couple guys who'd only played music for a couple years at that point, we just pulled out whatever we could think of. But Steely Dan's great because he's not like a traditional singer, you know, which I think a lot of us can relate to. And the focus on musicianship and different parts, you know, like when you've got a rock band and you've got 2 guys who play guitar, 1 guy who plays bass, and a guy who plays drums, a lot of what you do is going to be pretty similar to what every other band does that's made up of guitars, bass, and drums. And that's totally cool. I mean, fucking rock music is my favorite. I think it's fantastic. But when you start adding these other elements like backup singers, keyboards, horns, more percussion, maybe even strings, synthesizers, and you're just painting with all these different colors, the music can just become so much more. And also the structure of the songs can become so much more, because you'll have a verse and you'll have a chorus, but you can add these other little pieces of music and these little, I don't want to say vignettes, but these little other pieces that add to the overall picture and let it push and pull, you know, a little solo spot for a guitar or a little solo spot for a Rhodes. And they don't have to be full-blown, you know, 30-second, 45-second solos. They can be just a little spot, a couple of measures. And that's something fun that I love to do with this band. I learned a method from Mike Monday where you know, when you have an idea, you just blow it out. You just record it and you just get it out on the page. And the page in this case is a recording. You record the idea. And then you let it sit for a while, and when you come back to it, you listen to it, and you have pen and paper in front of you. And you listen to it, and you just jot out ideas of what it could be. Like, oh, I could hear tambourine coming in right here, or I could hear that vocal with a harmony, so you write harmony. You know, I want to double that guitar part, double guitar. But you also hear these little possibilities that oftentimes your imagination will pull something that's you can't necessarily do. Like you could put like a Jim Hall guitar solo, and maybe you can't play guitar as well as Jim Hall, you know, like, I mean, who can? Or John Coltrane solo for that matter. But you write it down, and then when you go to the studio, you have these ideas and you have this vision. And while you may not be able to actually record a Jim Hall guitar solo or a John Coltrane solo, you're going to do your version of that. And what matters is that that vision came to you of that specific thing, and you honor that when you're in the studio and you make your attempt. And, you know, like they say, shoot for the moon, settle for the stars, or whatever. When you, or maybe it's vice versa, but when you do that, you wind up with something that's much more special than what you would have wound up with if you had just written in your typical way with a guitar in your hands and just coming up with the same things within the limitations of your playing. The thing about writing your ideas on a piece of paper is you're not limited by your skills on a certain instrument or a certain vocal or whatever. Your imagination is wide open, and you can imagine any different idea. And then when you get to the studio, you make an attempt at it, and the song becomes so much more interesting. That's how I wrote so much of Rainbow Grass. And you've got something like Made to Care, where it starts with this opening flute line. I never would have thought of that without this method. It has a little keyboard solo right in the middle of it. I never would have thought, without that detachment of sitting and listening with a piece of paper, I never would have thought to write that little keyboard solo. Same with Mediterranean Food. There's an organ solo. Kicks into a Beatles riff in the middle of it. It's like your imagination has to be freed up from the limitations of matter, and that's what this dual approach allows you. You're up here in the clouds thinking of ideas, and then when you come to the studio, you're down in matter, and you go, okay, how can I make this happen? But it's informed from the higher regions, like the ideas come from above, and it's just a much more exciting way to write music, because it allows you to get in touch with your deepest sense of inspiration and your deepest sense of possibility and ideas. So that's something I love about Steely Dan. I don't know if they use that method or not, how they come up with this music that just has all these wonderful little parts, but that's how we do it, and I'm so grateful to be able to do that. Lately, I've been focusing a lot of energy on this podcast and getting up early enough to do it, and budgeting my life so that it fits within that. But I still do a song per week every Sunday, and I'll even show you whatever. I'm going to show you a couple of them. But when I first started the song per week, that was much of my focus, and so a lot of my energy went into that. Right now, very little energy goes into it. So I don't know if I'm going to try to find some way to budget a little more time for that. But the process of writing is so fun, so rewarding, and I wonder if I can find some way. Now I'm just more focused on the recording end. I've got 10 singles to record, one every 6 weeks, so I'm just like, my time goes to recording and producing these songs and making sure they're mastered and looking out for promotion. So I'm very busy with that, but I want to be able to find some more time for that front end stuff, which is writing. But I guess I'll have to figure it out. So let me see, what was the last song? And these are just not very developed ideas. They're just shit out a quick idea and move on to the next. Oh, look out. So, it's just these little ideas that I come up with quickly, and when I have more time, I'll develop them out, and these can each become songs. Some of them will, some of them won't. But just remaining in that habit of constantly creating is so important to me. And the longevity of the band is to have plenty of not just material, but material that I'm excited about. You know, I'm going to listen to the next single we're putting out in April is going to be a song I have called "The Walls Have Ears." And I recorded drums Sunday. Go to the beginning. And then I'm going to redo this bass and then put guitars and vocals. Flat strings on the bass. Also tune it up, get more tension on the strings, tune it up higher. Same notes, but more tension. The notes are kind of flubbing out. Fix some of those rim shots. Today I'm excited. Gonna get a Zildjian Uptown Ride and a 20-inch Crash of Doom. I'm so excited. Low pitched cymbals. The ones you heard right there are more high pitched. I'm excited for the those lower pitch, like sick ass fun cymbals. But let's see what else we got. Helmet. Somebody got me into this for a minute, and I listened to it a little bit. I didn't listen to it a ton. I definitely like it, but I didn't totally vibe with it. B minor strum from Bradford. Yes, I have tons of our music on my phone. That's what I love. I think it's an old ass song we have from back in the day. That makes more coffee. This is a different song from back in the day. Looking Down. We played this in LA with Heron. Fuck yeah. Bradford getting after it. Some Days Gone, Red Spencer. I remember showing this to Brad actually. Yeah, fucking album art. How can you touch that? So sick. Reminds me of Arnote, who did the video for Crossing Over. I wish. I'm trying to figure out some way to get audio rolling through the mixer so you can hear it on the thing. Oh, this cover right here. This one. Fuck, I missed it. I'll show you that shit because I like it. Boom, ticka ticka boom, ticka ticka boom, ticka ticka boom, 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 boom. Jazz Odyssey, baby. Oh, it's got 69 views. 69, bro. But I like this song. It slaps. Let me show you. Bootsy, 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 boot. Arnote. That's who the animation reminds me of. Or that picture reminds me of. By Arnote. That's what that Red Spencer art that reminds me of. But Red Spencer is banned from Australia. I think it's kind of just one guy, but he plays drums, and I love it when the one-man bands is a drummer like this guy and South, because the drums are really good. The songs are really good too. Drummers can write really good songs. I think they have a sense of structure that's kind of a step removed from fucking whatever, I don't know. But this guy writes really great songs, and he just put out a new album, Dream World, last year, and it's so good, so good. There's three singles leading up to it. Happy, I can't think of the other two, but they're all so good. Happy is such an awesome song. I put it on our playlist called Slaps. Bunch of great shit on there. Oh yes, I was just talking about this album with my friend John yesterday. Purple. It's so good. This fucking record is so good. He was talking about favorite artist and album. this is a favorite album. I need to get a fucking t-shirt of this, actually. Because, dude, it's such a good record. It's such a good record. If you haven't heard it, you gotta check it out. Interstate Love Song, classic. Classic song. Building steam with a grain of salt. Explicit. DJ Shadow. Blue Condition, Cream. Frogs remind me of like some of that 60s shit. In Rainbows. This is the one where they lost me. Dude, Radiohead was my favorite band. We love Radiohead. And, but this is the record where they lost me. And it's not that I don't like them anymore, but where I stopped, like, being obsessed with their albums. But for me, it was, it was OK Computer, and then I went backwards to the Bends and Pablo Honey, and then they put out Kid A, and then Amnesiac. And then what came out after that? Was that In Rainbows? Or was there something else? No, Hail to the Thief. And I was like, holy shit. Completely blew my mind. And then I moved to LA. And then they put out In Rainbows shortly after that point. And it was really good. It's amazing. But that's the one where they lost me. Oh, I gotta make a note for that t-shirt. Interstate Love Song. What do you think? Should I put up the album art for the new single that's not out yet, or should I wait? STP purple t-shirt. Genius. But Radiohead, one of my most favorite bands of all, absolutely hands down. How the band again? Yeah, I was so bummed I wasn't hearing from Matt. We talked like every Sunday for like years, since like 2019. I'm like, Matt, this is the vision I want to do. I want to make the band. We can produce everything ourselves. And he's like, I'm in. He goes, Ericsson's in. I was like, yes. And we would talk every Sunday, FaceTime. Talk about the music, talk about just bullshit, and produced 3 records. It's 2 full records together. He also played a lot on Rainbow Grass, but we produced 2 full records together. And then this summer I came visited, and right after that, he didn't want to do FaceTime anymore, and I was like, shit. He was like my rock. He was my guy who was there. We were always working on music together and excited and moving forward. And all of a sudden he's like not into it. I'm like, fuck. And so as I'm producing, I'm like, hey, do you want to play on this? No. He says, no, not right now, not at this time. I'm like, damn, what happened? It's like the switch flipped. And finally I asked him, I'm like, dude, what's going on? And he's like, I'm not really feeling I'm not able to cultivate the inspiration for my own music, he said, much less somebody else's. And I was like, all right, well. And he goes, Brad's more in the fold now. Brad was always very difficult to get in the band because he's dealing with life. But he goes, Brad's in the fold now. It's time for you guys to make some records. And I'm like, okay. I hope that Brad will. He's very inconsistent. He's hard to get him to step up, but the band was one of those guys that I model our band after, because we all write our own stuff, we all can sing, and we all bring so much to the table musically, that the band was one of those archetypes that I base our band on, and it's called The Band. Kenny Burrell, Sitting in a Rockin', something Sitting in a Rockin'. Wow, live 1959. He's playing a ES-175 in 1959. The ES-175 that I have is a 59 reissue. So sick. Great player. Golden. Mafi Minji. Minji. Looks like they got the guitars. I think that's a place in Beverly Hills. Good band photo. I can't tell which one is John Theodore. Probably the one with no guitar strap. Mozart. Hell yeah. Meshuggah. Immutable. Good ass record. This is a t-shirt I do have. Meshuggah Immutable. I always get Zildjian cymbals, but I know this guy Thomas Hockey, he plays Sabian cymbals. And there's a set of 13-inch stage hats I thought about getting. I recorded them on Mediterranean Food years ago, and I really liked them. I used them on Stone as well, off of Jazz Odyssey. A lot of articulation. You can do those little patterns. I'll show you mainly because I want to hear it. But then also there's also Zildjian in here because it's a 16-inch China Boy High. But let me check this out here. There. I like that sound. Like that. Sabian 13-inch stage hats. Let's go. What else we got here? Just thinking about changing out those hydraulic heads on the toms. Dizzy Miss Lizzy, fuck yeah. Yeah, my man, Dizzy Miss Lizzy. Blues. Beatles, man, same thing. You know, it's that archetypal band that I base us on. Is you know, collaborative songwriting, singing, multiple lead singers. You know, everybody brings a lot to the band. Just archetypal. Tuning notes. It's the track I always delete off each record. Tuning notes. Excuse me. But oh hell yeah. 180 proof, Burnt by the Sun. I saw these guys in Maine in like 2000, 99, 2000 with Breyer, and they played. I think we saw them with Candiria, and I don't know if it was Dillinger was the other band or maybe it was Mastodon, because there was 2 shows we went to. But I saw Burnt by the Sun, Candiria, Dillinger, and Mastodon, and I can't remember which ones I saw with which. I think Dillinger and Mastodon, and then later we saw Candiria with Burnt by the Sun's New York guys. Sick ass hardcore metal. I should actually listen to this because I haven't in a while. Burnt by the Sun, BBTS. Baby, behind the scenes. If I fell in love with you. Look, there's 5. Oh, there's 4. me understand. Look at these fucking guys. Get the cigarette. Amazing. Yes. Cake Fashion Nugget. I totally stole their album cover. So that's their album cover. And here's mine. Coincidence? I think not. But I mean, the song on mine is called Crown, so I was like, I'll put a crown on there. And then once he sent me the artwork, I was like, it was on a black background, and I'm like, put a yellow background. And that's when I realized I was like, I'm totally stealing the Fashion Nugget. But this is one of the most influential albums for us. Certainly for me. I mean, I think I learned almost every lick on this record. Every song. And I was listening to it, I think it came up on my shuffle one day at work. Just on my cell phone, sitting on my desk. And I was like, fuck. The bass is just like jumping out of my phone. I was like, how is this possible? How could this sound so good? And so I looked up like who mastered and who recorded Fashion Nugget. And it was Paradise Studios in Sacramento, so Craig Long. So I looked him up, emailed him, and go, hey, I want to work with you. We're making a record. We're making Jazz Odyssey at the time. And Craig reached out to me, and he's like, yeah, I worked with my partner on Fashion Nugget, and he's like, we were up all night. We were working in shifts around the clock to make that record. I was like, dude, it sounds so good. And luckily, I worked with him on Jazz Odyssey, and now on the last one, the Lo-Fi tapes. So not only did I steal their engineer, I stole their album cover too. But Cake, massive influence. And a lot of the sound on that record is Cake too, because I played it on acoustic guitar. So they're like alternative rock songs, but like on an acoustic guitar, this like chunky, funny sound. But just a massive influence, man. I mean, the groove, the bass is so sick. The songs are so good. That country lead guitar, I can't remember the lead guitar player's name, but he's so good, man. Everything he plays is so tasty. He plays like a Gretsch through a Fender amp, and it's just so money, so on the spot. But massive favorite artist, favorite album, for sure, hands down. Enough so that I'm just like blatantly copying them. Tal Farlow. Tal's a ripper, man. I couldn't get into many guitar players' jazz guitar. I don't like the tone. There's no sustain. And I don't like the style of a lot of the guys. There's a few rare exceptions. I love Jim Hall and how he plays. He uses lighter strings, and I think that's a part of it. But, there's certain licks and there's certain phrases that I do want to steal from these guys, and I do admire them. I mean, listen, I love Tal Farlow, but I don't listen to him. Kenny Burrell, the shit he played with John Coltrane, so sick. Joe Pass I like, but I can't listen to, I can't enjoy a Joe Pass record like I can Jim Hall. Even Grant Green, as great as he is, and Wes Montgomery. There's something I just don't like about the jazz guitar sound. It's too dark. It's not enough sustain. But I did get a book of his just because there's just not a lot of jazz guitar players, period. Not from back in the day. It's like you could count them on one hand. But so when you find a piece of material like a book, I bought it. As a teenager, I bought that book. Then there was no Jim Hall books. There's no Kenny Burrell books. There's no, Grant Green books. So he had a book, so I bought it. Maybe stole a couple of licks. Didn't dive too deep into it, but amazing player. But it's just when you play that jazz shit on a jazz guitar, it's just not as exciting to me as a saxophone or a piano or trumpet. It's just not as exciting. It's dark and it's plain sounding. Even when you're playing the coolest shit, I think you need a little bit of brightness. I think you need a little bit of sustain. And that's what you hear with like some of the really good country guys, and like Jerry Garcia and Billy Strings and John Mayer, and all these guys who can really speak that language well. It's like you kind of have to step away from that archtop guitar, flat wound strings, 17 gauge strings. But that's just what I think. Vocal exercise. Haven't been doing much in the vocal exercises. Actually, I sing every Wednesday. I sing the Oxford Hills Sound, but I haven't been doing my vocal exercises. I suppose I can do them on the way home, but I don't. I usually just drive. Oh, holy break of day. Remember Casey showed me this record a couple years ago. I wonder where that picture's taken. And I was like, wow, it's very unique. It's rock, it's alternative rock, but this album is kind of a microcosm. It has this certain sound, his voice and his band and the songs has kind of this specific moment in time sound. And I dig it a lot. I listened to this record a lot. I remember listening to it at my cousin Seth's house in Maine. When I was on vacation, I was just like laying in the grass. I just like fell asleep listening to it just outside. Super good record. I kind of wore it out though. I go through an album and then I don't listen to it anymore. So I don't really listen to this one anymore. But Waters, all caps. Trouble in Mind. This is Roscoe Holcomb. This is one of the songs I learned as my song of the week. My first weekly practice. Since that one, I've done a lot, and I'm so grateful because they've helped me grow so much and learn so much, these weekly practices. But the first one was like learning a song per week, and I learned so much about songwriting during that year. I did it for a year. Learned Beatles songs and the band and Radiohead and of course my friends, Brad's songs, Matt's songs, Casey's songs, and just learned so much about songwriting. Squeeze. But one of the songs I learned was Trouble in Mind, and he sings it. I think Johnny Cash does it. A lot of guys have done it. It's a classic country tune. Trouble in Mind, my dad sings it. I don't know whose version he does, but Hardwire. Is it Hardwire? Metric. Grow up and blow away. Wow. That's pretty cool. It's a good ass record, man. Very unique. Good band, Metric. I feel like they should be bigger than they are, but I don't know. I think the whole thing of being a big band is kind of an industry that's based around the record labels. And even if you're a really good band, like Metric is a really good band, easily better than any big band or big artist that's out there. But it's interesting that they're not a big band. But I don't think that size is something that bands really achieve on their own. It's more a matter of marketing, which is fine as long as you can achieve your goals within that, within your audience. And I wonder if they are. I wonder what their goals are and if they're achieving them. I mean, I know I certainly intend to, would love the work, build a following that would allow me and us to work on music full time, be able to, practice the drums every day because I don't have time to build those skills when I have to work. record music every day and write songs and be able to spend time. I mean, I pretty much squeeze every ounce out of a day that I can right now. But I do intend to build some sort of income from the band and from other businesses that would allow me to work on music full time. Because, man, I'd be pretty fucking pissed if I never get the chance to do this and to practice the drums and develop my skills to where I want to get them. I'd be pretty fucking pissed. But we'll see what happens. I intend to make it happen. You've lost that love and feeling, The Firm. I think I got this just because I met Tony Franklin through work, and he plays in this band. But this band was like Jimmy Page. I think Paul Rogers is the singer. I don't know who the drummer is, but Tony Franklin was the bass player. But it was kind of like that rock supergroup that just didn't hit. I mean, I don't know what the name of any of their songs are. I don't think many people really do. March of the Meanies, George Martin. Not the Beatles, George Martin. So not only was he a producer, he was a composer as well. Eruption, Van Halen. Yeah, all this talk about anger. Let's see what else we got in anger. Leapfrog, Charlie Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. Talking about fucking Boys Raw. I'll play some music.
Singing songs with my friends.
Round of Love the Work. Thank you for joining me. Favorite artist and album.